folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Serpent in the Garden, Ed Grey and the Last Battle for England, issue 1 by Dark Horse. Now, there is some fighting, death, magic, and weird shit in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Okay, here's the team. Right, so this is a new mini series, and I picked it up because Mike Manola is writing it, and that made me very happy. I do miss him writing and doing the art in these, and this is another story from the world of Hellboy. So Hellboy is mentioned here, but it's not him, not him in the story. Yeah, I mean he's not a character in the story, just mentioned. But still, I do love these. Now I have become a bit more selective with these. I now check the art before and to see who wrote it more carefully because I read some Hellboy series or from the world of Hellboy series last year and I was disappointed in them. Alright, okay, so let's get into this one. So the story starts in, it says many years ago, we see England destroyed, and it says this is the day that Hellboy saved the Earth. And then, sorry, saved the world. Okay, and then we have a lady saying, "Pig, out of all the players in this the thing, you are my favorite." And we see a somewhat humanoid pig hanging from a noose. And he says, wait, I don't want it to end like this. I know where I'm heading. And then, what did the lady say? 1 second. And I don't want to be there for it. I know where things are going. I don't want to be there for it. And she tells him, neither do I. And then she snaps her fingers. Okay. And then he falls. And she tells him, you'll have to come with me. And he says, where? To the place where ones like us go to in the end. So this pig man, pig man is there's a story called The Corpse, a Hellboy story where he goes to do a task for the fairies to get a baby back to her parents, a little baby named Alice. And this pig man used to be a little, kind of like a fairy, I think. Anyway, a related creature to fairies. And he pretended to be the baby after they kidnapped the baby. And Hellboy has, tortured him with iron to get information from him. At the end of that story, spoilers, Hellboy saves the baby, brings her back to her parents. He does the task for the fairies. This little fairy guy tries to intervene, but in the process, gets killed by the creature he unleashed on Hellboy. And that's it. I don't know how he turns into the pig man. Really, I have no idea how that happened. Maybe that's in another story. But yeah, anyway, that's who he is. So he hates Hellboy. He wants revenge on him. But anyway, they keep going. And he asks, is it far? It is not further than when a raven flies, and they walk into darkness. And then they reach an entrance to a castle, and a sort of a priest is standing there with 3 nuns. They look very weird, these nuns. They have yellow eyes, and they're all white. I think they're doves. Because later, 3 doves are flying next to him. Anyway, she says, how long have I been gone? He says, 200 years. And then she asks him what has happened. And he's holding a globe in his hands, a small one. And he's showing her, and then he says, Hellboy has died. then came back to life, then died again. That was a spoiler for me. I wonder where that story is. I gotta find it. But yes, he died, and all the Earth is destroyed except the only place that's left is Avalon. That's it. And now Avalon has a new queen, and she has earned her crown. And I'm pretty certain that is Alice, the little baby that Hellboy saved all those years ago. And then the Pigman, I'm just gonna call him, says, "But how is it possible? Why is a human the queen? You should be the queen because I think she's a witch. She's a witch. The lady's name is Morgana or Morgan, the one that he went with. Like I think like Morgana from the Arthur story, that witch. But anyway, she so yes she starts telling him, for starters, she's no longer a baby. And then he said, give me back my former form, and I'll be your champion. I'll take revenge. I think before that, he starts talking about everything that happened, who he was. She said, let's not get into that again. But then he tells her, I'll be your champion. I'll get that crown back to you. But then she says, leave me, pig. I need to think about this. And so he leaves. And she's there in the room with the priest and now 3 doves. I think, okay. Let me just make sure. Uh-huh. Okay. Okie dokie. And then we go on to Avalon, where we see Sir Edward Grey, or Ed Grey. It seems that he's no longer. So Sir Edward Grey has he died, but he died fighting a demon, and the demon took him to hell with him. And there he's been torn to shreds, but then he's been fixed by other demons. And so he was no longer human. He was sort of, I don't even know if ghost is the right word for what he was or is. But he was sewn together and he had a mask on his face. And here it looks like he's back to looking like he used to. Like over here. So he's sitting in a house in Avalon, and a woman named Mary's with him. I think perhaps that's his wife or someone that he loved. Or the woman that he loved. I don't know if they're married. And he tells her that he has to go, that he made a promise. So Sir Edward Grey made a promise to to the Queen, to Alice, that, she tells him, I hope, the time might never come, but, when it does, will you stand beside me to defend Avalon? And he's in his form like he was in hell, and he says, I will. And so he has to go, and Mary doesn't want him to. She said, perhaps I'm being selfish. But then he goes, and she said, promise me you'll come back, Ed. Or Edward. And he said, I can't, but I'll do my best. And so he leaves and goes through through Avalon to the Queen. To Queen Alice. And then we move back to the pig. Back to Pigman there. And he's walking around the castle of Morgana, or Morgan. Who's gonna call him Morgan? Yeah, he goes through a castle. Then we see. We also see Mary sitting, and lilies are floating above her. Okay. Well, then he goes into the castle's in ruins as well. He goes, and there's a fountain there. And in the fountain, he sees a little goldfish. And the goldfish asks him, who are you? And he says who he used to be. And she says, I'm Morgan's sister, or so she calls me. But I'm actually her spirit. Her, young self before she became what she is. And then we get a recollection of Morgan's life. She was born to a duke. Then she was sent to a nunnery to learn the healing, the abilities of herbs of healing. And then after that, she met Merlin, and Merlin was her teacher. But then Merlin died on her. He succumbed to something. And then she was married off to a king. He was much, much, much older, and she was happy enough. And then she met a knight, and she fell in love with him. And they obviously had sex. But then that knight was killed by Arthur, King Arthur, and thus Morgana has given up her spirit, this little goldfish, so she could so she can devote herself to dark magic. And so she studies, then she seduces Arthur, and bears him a son, Mordred. And then that's part of her revenge, and then Mordred kills Arthur. But it also looks like Arthur has killed Mordred, as both of them have a sword in each other, so I'm not certain. But anyway, she got her revenge, but then it seems like nothing is ever really enough for her. She wants more. She wants to be not just the queen that she was then, because she married a king and he made her the queen. She wanted to be the queen of Avalon, of everything. So that happens, and then also we see then Sir Edward Grey. He goes to Queen Alice. She's now a beautiful woman. She's grown up to be a very beautiful woman. She wears this crown here with all these faces on it. And she's practically naked. She just has a hood on her that's practically open in the middle. No pants or anything. Which is it is a very interesting look though. So yeah, she goes to him and she say, will you fight for me? And he says yes. And then she say, you must become, part of this land that was your father's and your father's father's and your father's father's. And so plans start to go all over Sir Edward Grey's body, enveloping him. And you see all these fairies and other creatures around. And one of them asks, will he succeed in this? What if he fails? And Alice says he will not fail. And then he becomes, kind of becomes like Swamp Thing a little bit, the look. He's now a plant man. And, well, that's it. Now he's ready for a battle. He stands before the queen now, all plant-like. One second. Does he tell her? Yeah. Yeah, and then rise champion of Avalon, and he says, Your Majesty. And then we go to elsewhere. We're back in Morgan's castle. There's, I don't know, smoke coming out of some eyes of an Iron Maiden. And I think stone portrait of King Arthur. Then there's the priest man, who's a skeleton. And then there's Pigman sitting there next to that fountain. And then Morgan sits and says to be continued. And there's a little figurine of a king or a knight in front of her on the table. And that is it. That's how the first issue ends. Okay, so first the cover. It's a very Mike Mignola in the design. You got the back. This is how Sir Edward Grey looks after he turns, but this is in stone. Just imagine this, but in green. There he is, and there's the crown and the plants that also enveloped him. So yeah, it's a very good cover. It's a nice one. But I don't think this was done by Mike Mignola though. But I am happy that the art inside was colored by Dave Stewart. I do love his coloring. So yeah, good cover. I'll show you a few pages. You see, this is the image. You see, that's Mordred, and that is King Arthur. And see, he also has a sword through him. So I wonder if I guess maybe this means Mordred survived. Don't know. But yeah, there we go. Oh, covers by Ben Stenbeck. I like his art style. He managed to em- emulate some of how Mike Mignola draws. So you see that's England. There's Pigman hanging there, and and there we go. There's the Queen Morgan, who's kind of dressed like Elizabeth the First. You see, they go together. It's dark. You see, look at those nuns. Look at those eyes. I'm pretty sure they're doves. But yeah, there they are. And you see, this is that scene where Hellboy's heart's taken by. I still don't know who took him and killed him. And then he comes back. Oh, sorry. And then he comes back to life. I'm pretty sure that's Liz over there. So wait, where did they bury Hellboy? I wonder then. Huh. Interesting. So yeah, the art style is has similarities to Mike Mignola, which I'm very happy about. And of course, Dave Stewart does the coloring, so it enhances that feeling even more. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this art style. Okay, that was the art. Now for the story, very intriguing beginning. We have some bit of information of what's going on. Although it looks like you need to read the before to see how Sir Edward Grey ended up with Mary in Avalon. Doesn't mean that the world is truly destroyed now and only Avalon exists. Oh, and also, Pigman's amazed that Avalon is the way it is. Like he remembers it when he was young, and Morgan tells him it's because no, the priest tells him it is thanks to Hellboy's sacrifice, thanks to his blood. His blood has allowed it to be like it used to again. So that's what happens there. So yeah, it's very intriguing. It was cool. It was nice to read something that Mike Mignola wrote again. And I mean, there's been many a new series that he hasn't really had any part in. But yeah, it's very intriguing in his first issue. What will happen? Will Alice stay the queen? Will Pigman actually go and fight Sir Edward Grey? And if he wins, then what? What is Morgan planning to do once she becomes Queen of Avalon? What will happen to Alice? Where is Hellboy if he's now, well, dead again? Oh, well, that probably won't be answered here, obviously. It's not focused on that. But yeah, I look forward to see Sir Edward Grey battling and see if he manages to make it back to Mary. He hasn't promised her, so that doesn't really help. Sorry for your siren. So that doesn't really help to see if he will or not. I mean, I realize he's already dead, so I'm pretty sure this is not him back to life. It's just now, bloody sirens. It just now, like, earned a place in Avalon with his Mary. It looks like they're just living there. So yeah, all left to be seen. But I'm already very happy with this first issue, and I look forward to getting the other two. I'm really happy to be reading something new that Mike Mignola has written. Alright, so that is it, folks. So let me know if you've read. Oh, another thing, though, before. This is a really fucking long ass title. I mean, holy shit. Serpent in the Garden, Ed Grey, and the Last Battle for England. I wonder why it's called Serpent in the Garden. Yeah, well, I suppose that'll probably be revealed by the end of this mini-series. I shall see, because that's also Queen Alice said, you fight the other serpent if he rises, when he makes that promise to her. But yeah, so that's it. As I started saying, let me know if you've read this one, and if so, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not? And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!